Today, I'm going to show you how to instantly line up and sync all your audio. One of the essential skills of a modern independent filmmaker such as yourself. There is a simpler way that will save headache and hours of post-work as long as you know where to look. What is audio sync? When you record your audio in a separate device from your video recorder, that's called double system recording. Maybe you've got your Rode SmartLav Plus hooked up to a cell phone in your speaker's pocket. Maybe you've got an H4n taking an output from the organizer's mixer board. Many of us have to do this out of necessity when we're relegated to the back of a conference room or rally, but it leaves us with a conundrum. Our content is now in two pieces, so we move into our post-production editor and we import our video and our audio clips. Ideally, our video clip has its own in-camera audio, also known as scratch audio. That means the not-so-great audio that our main camera captured out of its terrible internal speakers. It's important to have this scratch because we'll use that for the alignment of our good external audio later. Manual sync is the default way to sync your video and audio in post. The method is the same in every program, and there are some techniques that can help it run more smoothly. Number one is starting and stopping your audio recording at roughly the same time that you start and stop your video. I've done it every way possible, and while different types of production have different standards, like one audio track for several takes or several audio tracks for a single take, the 1-to-1 ratio is the least confusing and the easiest to work with in post without having to remember exactly what happened on set. Number two, clapping. Unless you're producing hundreds of clips, you don't need a slate. It can help under some circumstances, but it's another pair of hands to keep the slate up to date. It costs valuable time to prep it, get it in front of the camera, roll everything, that means start recording, and then mark the slate, and we here at Progress Now barely use ours. But presenting important information is only half the job of the slate. The other half is it makes a loud noise. Yeah, wow, so useful. This noise is different than, say, me yelling. In post, when I'm looking at the audio clip, you see this spike here? It's clipping, which means it maxes out the dynamic range of the audio recorder. And it's very brief, forming a skinny vertical line. That's what a slate clap looks like in your audio waveform. This is useful because the spike will be present in your video scratch audio too, providing you were recording through your camera and your sound device when you made the clap. So in post, you can take your two clips, each in a separate track, and line up those two spikes in the audio, and voila, your audio is aligned the whole way down. So if you, like me, are not using a slate, then what can you do? Claps. There you go. Look at that waveform. It's almost the same. In fact, we synced the audio for this episode using exactly this technique. Actually, what we did was a double clap, which produces two sharp spikes that you can align. I prefer the two or more claps method because it makes it easier, in my opinion, to manually align. And it seems to help these system auto sync tools as well. More on that later. If your video didn't capture any audio, this clap can also help you sync via visual reference. As long as you clap and the camera can see your hands, there is a visual reference, the exact frame that your hands come together. That's when the clap spike also happens, so you can align using that as well. And number three is don't forget to clear your cards before you start recording. Obviously, check first to make sure that you've transferred everything you might need before you format. But it's way easier to see who goes with who if your audio card has 5 clips in it and your video card also has 5 clips in it. Even if you had to try every audio clip against a video track for some reason to find the right one, something I have had to do on occasion, it's trivial compared to dozens or hundreds of raw clips without any labels on them. And maybe some of you are like, I'll rely on the metadata. Your equipment might not be giving you the right time or date, especially if you haven't set it correctly already. And some devices roll over their metadata, logging after 50 files or 100 files, independent of how many you've captured that day. So it literally can't be relied on to save you. For those of you who right now are saying, what is metadata? It's the file information. It usually reads date created, date modified, resolution, encoding, etc. Lots of people reference this to see what day a file was created on and to determine how to organize it or what project it might go with. The takeaway is that a clean card makes for an easy ingest after a long day of shooting. So make it easy on yourself. Auto-syncing. All right, let's talk about auto-syncing. It's really easy when it works, and it's different in every program you're gonna work in. So we'll just go through these. Quick reference links and times in the description below. In Premiere Pro, you select your 2 or more audio clips with your one video clip with its scratch audio in your timeline that you want to be synced. You right-click and select Synchronize. Now, your default settings will be based on clip start or clip end, which is not going to help you. It's just going to line them up by the in and out points of each clip. You'll need to select audio at the bottom, and it'll default to track channel 1 under most circumstances. Then you hit OK, let it load. This may take a while, and then everything will shift and they'll all be synced. It's important to check that sync to see that it did actually do a good job. Sometimes if your audio is noisy or you didn't clap or whatever else, it might find an arbitrary set of sounds that are similar but not necessarily the same, and it'll sync on those, throwing everything else out of whack. It might also just give you an error saying that it couldn't find a match and gave up. If it does either of these two things, then you, my friend, are SOL, and it's time to use your manual syncing skills on this particular clip. It could also mean that you're trying to sync maybe the wrong audio clip to your video. So maybe give a quick listen to that audio playback to see if it sounds like the right take. You can also select literally all your audio tracks in your timeline and your one video plus scratch and hit sync, and it'll sync the one audio track that is correct and basically ignore all the rest. I don't recommend this unless you have a truly powerful computer. Even for 30 seconds, more than a few audio clips will take a very long time to be processed, and it might actually be faster to do it manually. Final Cut Pro 10. Okay, so you're in your project bin. Before you even put anything in the timeline, select all of the audio and all of the video clips that you want your program to sync. Make sure everyone has a partner in the folder or it'll cause some errors. Then go to Clip, Synchronize Clips. In the menu drop-down, pick a name for your clip or clips and check Use Audio for Synchronization box and the Disable Audio Components on AV clips to make sure 1, it uses the audio, and 2, replaces your scratch. This is really cool. It'll merge all the clips and move all the newly synced clips into a folder using the name that you picked. So everything is labeled and synced just like single system audio, ready for your edit. Davinci Resolve. Resolve also has a really cool batch autosync feature like Final Cut. Make sure all of your video and audio clips are in the same bin in your media panel. Right-click the bin itself, but while you're outside of that bin, and select the appropriate option. It can sync by timecode or by waveform. For your purposes, we're going to pick Auto Sync Audio based on waveform, which will take the audio waveform and compare it against the scratches waveform. It'll align your clips and then replace the scratch audio with the new sync audio. Resolve is highly optimized, so this is super easy to run this for an entire day's set of clips all at once. It's definitely the fastest option out there for PC users, and depending on the build of your Mac, it can actually be faster than Final Cut's autosync as well. And it's totally free. Kinemaster. So Kinemaster is a manual sync program only, so make sure you get those claps in. They will be a lifesaver. You will need to trim the audio to the clap point and then pull your audio clip upstream, that means to your left, on your timeline until it aligns with the waveform spike in your scratch audio. Then you can extract your scratch audio by going to Audio, scroll down, and select Extract Audio. Now, this will separate your video and audio. You should have 2 audio tracks and 1 video track. You can select your top audio track and delete it. And there you go, you're all done. Adobe Rush. Adobe Rush is also a manual sync program, unfortunately, so make sure you clap. Unlike Kinemaster, the audio and video are already separated, so you can simply align your waveforms. Find those matching spikes from your claps, and you're good to go. Then you can select your scratch audio and delete it or mute it. Now you're all done. No sync. Finally, what do you do if you have not done your due diligence and you've got audio that just won't sync? If you didn't get your clap in, but you still have scratch audio, look for something else in your track that you could align by. Some other spike in the waveform, like a cough or some other loud peak in your audio. I am someone who has forgotten plenty of times to clap and has been saved in post by some random loud noise that hopefully happened before or after the important audio, but was still while you were recording. If you don't have any scratch and you don't have a clap, then you'll be syncing by lip reading. This is going to be long and hard and frustrating, and once you have to do this once, it'll never happen again. So in that way, it's a good learning experience. My only advice to you is find the beginning of a sentence. Like, right when your subject starts speaking, and look for that point in your waveform. Right as someone starts opening their mouth to form a sentence, you usually see the beginnings of a gradual bell curve of the spoken word. Scoot your audio track frame by frame by frame, play back the video each time, and try to see if it lines up with the subject's lips moving. Oftentimes when you're within 2 or 3 frames, it's extremely hard to tell if you're ahead or behind. My recommendation to you is to get way off, like move it 10 more frames out, and then check your alignment. Then you'll be able to tell if you were ahead or behind, and then you can start inching it back frame by frame, checking the playback each time until you hit what looks like alignment. Then go 1 frame past to make sure the alignment drops again so you know that you've gone too far. Then edge it back 1 frame and you're all synced. Hopefully you won't find yourself syncing by liberating anytime soon, as long as you follow our advice. Remember, the more work you put into pre-production and production, the less work by orders of magnitude you will find yourself responsible for when you reach post-production. If there's anything that I didn't cover about audio sync, please ask us in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can continue to learn the fundamentals of video production with our other amazing videos in this growing series. All right, I think that's everything. I will see you on the next one. Jordan out. Whew, that was enough for me, I'll tell you that.